There's this puzzle at the heart of Libya's higher education system. It's about a promise, a really important one, that was made almost 2 decades ago, but for some reason, it still hasn't been fulfilled. Today, we're going to dig into why.
So, let's rewind the clock all the way back to 2006. This was supposed to be a huge deal, a real turning point. Libya established the National Center for Quality Assurance. Its whole mission? To lift up the standards of its universities. It was this moment filled with incredible potential.
So, that leaves us with the million-dollar question, right? After all that initial excitement and ambition, why has progress stalled out? What's really been holding things back for nearly 20 years?
To really get what's going on here, you've got to grasp the timeline we're talking about. This isn't some recent hiccup. Oh no. This is a long, drawn-out story of stagnation.
I mean, just look at this. The timeline really tells a story. You see the center get started back in '06, and there are some early pushes to get things going. But then, it just kind of fizzles out. Progress gets disrupted, and then we enter this long, long period of major delays that just keep stretching on. We're talking about a goal that was set when a high school senior today was just a baby. It's still not even close. Okay, so we've seen the what and the when, this massive delay, but the real question is why? What are the fundamental roadblocks that have been tripping this thing up from the very beginning? Let's get into it. All right, obstacle number one. And honestly, this is probably the biggest one. A simple lack of political will. See, it's one thing to announce a big, shiny new plan. It's a whole different ballgame to actually see it through when things get tough. And you don't have to take my word for it. This quote from the research absolutely nails it. It calls out a lack of genuine and serious political will. What that really means is, if the people at the top, the ministry, the university presidents, aren't constantly pushing for this, then the whole plan is just words on paper. It has no power. And, when you have a lack of political will, it's no surprise what comes next, right? Not enough support. You can have the best ideas in the world, but they need resources to become reality. You just can't build world-class universities on an empty wallet. The research highlights this insufficient financial and moral support. And it's not just about the money, though that's a huge part of it. It's also about moral support. Providing the training, the encouragement, the tools people need to actually make quality a priority in their day-to-day work. Okay, so that brings us to the third big roadblock. This one's more structural. Even if you had the will and you had the cash, you'd still be missing something absolutely crucial: the rules of the game. And again, the research points this out super clearly. Without actual laws and regulations backing this up, these standards don't have any teeth. They're just suggestions. Compliance becomes totally optional. If you want quality assurance to mean something, it has to be built on a rock-solid legal foundation with clear expectations and, real consequences. Okay, so that's a lot of problems, I know. But it's not all doom and gloom. The good news is the research doesn't just stop at what's broken, it also helps map out how to fix it. There is a path forward. And here's the big takeaway for the solution: it has to be a team effort. This isn't a problem that the ministry can solve by itself, or that universities can fix on their own. Nope. This requires everyone getting in the same boat and rowing in the same direction. So, what does that team effort look like? Well, it's basically a 4-step plan. And what's so smart about it is how each step directly tackles one of the problems we just talked about. First, you get that genuine political backing. Then, you put your money where your mouth is with real sustainable funding. Next, you create and, this is key, enforce the laws. And finally, you give the universities the power and support they need to make it all happen on the ground. So whose job is this anyway? Well, pretty much everyone's. You got to think of it like a machine with a bunch of moving parts. The ministry, the university leaders, the quality center, even academics and researchers, they all have a part to play. If one of those gears isn't turning, the whole machine grinds to a halt. Okay, let's step back for a minute. We've been talking about regulations and funding and stakeholders, but why does any of this actually matter? What's really at stake here? Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about some bureaucratic checklist. We're talking about the future of the country. Seriously, the quality of a nation's universities directly shapes the skills of its graduates, the innovation in its economy, and the potential of an entire generation. It's a massive investment in human capital. Which brings us right back to where we started, and it leaves us with one huge, lingering question. We know the problems,
We know the solutions. The real challenge now is, can everyone involved finally find the collective will to come together and make that promise from 2006 a reality? The future of higher education in Libya really does hang in the balance.